They want to discredit you for what?
Because I'm a dangerous man, because I know too much about the truth.
Now that end of the world apocalyptic garbage you write?
You know my work? I was right about Dallas, wasn't I?
How were you right?
Are you familiar with the Hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the Hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency. Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it wasn't such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying it wasn't the Hantavirus.
Well, what was it? What was it?
When we were young men in the military, your father and I were recruited for a project. They told us it was biological warfare, a virus.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men, or any appreciation of the scale at which it'll be unleashed in the future.
A plague?
A plague to end all plagues, Agent Mulder. A silent weapon for a quiet war. The systematic release of an indiscriminate organism for which the men who will bring it on still have no cure. They've been working on this for 50 years. While the rest of the world have been fighting crooks and commies, these men have been secretly negotiating a planned Armageddon.
Negotiating with whom?
I think you know. The timetable has been set. It'll happen on a holiday when people are away from their homes. The president will declare a state of emergency, at which time all government, all federal agencies will come under the power of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the secret government.
This is not COVID, and I think sometimes people also see me and they think that I might be announcing sort of the next epidemic or pandemic. That is not the situation that we're in right now. This virus spreads very differently than COVID or influenza. But as you've pointed out, you've mentioned the incubation period, and if somebody is exposed, it can take anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. Largely, it could be as much as 8 weeks to actually develop symptoms. So what it is that we're doing right now is we're doing a risk assessment, is what we call. We're interviewing all of the people who were in contact with any of the suspected patients, everybody that was on board, people who disembarked from the ship earlier, people who traveled on a plane from St. Helena to South Africa, and working with the countries of the nationalities of the people involved to follow up each and every one of these individuals. What kind of risk did they have? Is it a higher risk? Is it a lower risk? If they are feeling unwell, what kind of medical care can we give them? Laboratory testing. So all of that is underway.
The hantavirus affecting the cruise ship appears to be the Andes variety, which goes human to human. This is devastating news because the hantavirus has a lethality rate, a mortality rate of 15 to 40%. 3 people have died currently of the 8 people that are infected. 3 of the individuals on the ship are being evacuated to the Netherlands for treatment. One of them is in very bad shape. This is an RNA type of virus, which means it mutates quickly. Think influenza, think COVID, which means a simple vaccine won't protect you forever from this. You will need boosters if this comes into our society. And if it comes in as deadly as it is, we are looking at a plague far worse than the Spanish flu, far worse than COVID, and far worse than many of the plagues we have seen. This at a time when the United States has withdrawn from the World Health Organization. And right now we are depending upon the World Health Organization to keep our shores safe. It used to be we would be sending the Centers for Disease Control and its scientists there who kept our shores safe from Ebola. But alas, we can't do that because we have devastated the Centers for Disease Control, firing a number of the scientists who would do it. This is not a time to play politics. This is a time when we need the scientific community to come up quickly with information to keep us safe.
Given the incubation period of the Andes virus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it's possible that more cases may be reported. While this is a serious incident, WHO assesses the public health risk as low. It also shows why the international health regulations exist and how they work. WHO is working with multiple governments and partners on the response under those regulations. Our priorities are to ensure the affected patients receive care, that the remaining passengers on the ship are kept safe and treated with dignity, and to prevent any further spread of the virus.
Breaking news, Hantavirus has reached Singapore, with 2 people suspected of having the deadly disease currently isolating while being tested by doctors. We'll bring you...
Alright guys, for real, this is the last mini deep dive I'm doing on this Hantavirus cruise ship thing. Well, allegedly. We all know I have no self-control. So I went back and tried to strip this thing down to just source document. So like not anybody's reporting on someone else's reporting, but like actual documented sources, and I found a lot of red flags in doing so. First red flag, the official departure date is completely inconsistent. I found from 2 government sources 2 different dates. How come the CDC of Africa says that it was on March 20th, 2026 that the ship departed Argentina, while the World Health Organization says that the vessel departed Argentina on April 1st, 2026. That's the CDC and the World Health Organization having different dates? Also pretty crazy that the ship departed from Argentina. Meanwhile, Argentina withdrew from the World Health Organization in March of 2026. What do you mean by April 11th? The first case of an adult male, he died on April 11th as his symptoms got worse, but the body of the passenger wasn't removed until the 24th of April. That means for, what, 13 days or something like that? He was on board? A body was on board? Also, I was on the MV Hondius's Wikipedia page, which is the ship that they're all on, and it says that the maiden voyage was in 2019, which is cool and all, except for the fact that when you go to the history of all the edits, it shows that the creation of this page was on May 5th, 2026. While the media has been making out this Jake guy to be some just random American who got caught up in a bad deal, I went to his Instagram. He's partnered with Oceanwide X. Like, that was not disclosed in any of these articles. He also, back in 2023, I believe it was, 171 weeks ago, he did a cruise with them already to South Georgia and had these pictures. So, for all I know, he could be reposting some of these pictures that were on his page from forever ago. Oh, guys, get this.
Come with me aboard Oceanwide Expedition ship, the plan
This
to
is
visit
from
one of the largest
2024.
penguin colonies in the world. After a 2-day journey at sea from the Falkland Islands, we arrived at South Georgia Island. Our first landing site here was going to be Salisbury Plain, which is home to a king penguin colony of about 60,000 breeding pairs. This is a place I always dreamed of visiting, and I was brought to tears on arrival.
He was there in
At around 8 a.m. it was
2023.
time
What
to
are you
catch a ride
talking
on the
about?
Zodiac.
So for the record, my conclusion is not that this is fake or anything like that, okay? My conclusion is that the public timeline is messy and that official sources don't seem to agree, and that some of the most important, dare I say, life-changing decisions that were made early on, like, I don't know, not doing any microbiological tests on the first death, deserve more scrutiny. And honestly, shame on the mainstream reporting for not mentioning that Jake works with this cruise ship, or at least is sponsored by or is a brand ambassador for this company. There's not one piece of reporting that I saw that stated that, and whether or not that means he was in cahoots with someone or what doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that changes the story like immensely. And now he's only one of 2 people that we get to hear from inside the ship. This is not. No. Anyways, I've got to get back to this Genesis mission investigation if I want to get this video out by Thursday. And maybe I could do it tomorrow. Probably Thursday.
Hey guys, Demon Hunter here. Hope all is well. Alright, so we got another pandemic. It looks like they're ready to kick off with this Hantavirus, but I want to go ahead and share some information here. Alright, so this here tweet states Hantavirus is a side effect of COVID vaccination. The World Health Organization lists the so-called Hantavirus as a side effect of COVID mRNA vaccination. The WHO has buried this in the VE Access website. The website contains a database listing all known side effects of all medications and vaccines that have been approved for public use. Under possible side effects, for the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. The WHO lists hantavirus alongside hundreds of other diseases. And it gives you a link to the website. But anyway, here it is. VG Access, hantaviral infection, hantavirus pulmonary infection. There it is. And this was a post by Soothsayer back in July or June 11th, 2022. 2023 Corona ended. 2026 hantavirus with 75,000 retweets back in 2022. This is Gavi, Bill Gates. Already knew in 2021 when Corona hadn't even been fully milk dry yet, the Hanta would follow. And this is Vaccines Work website. The next pandemic is hantavirus. Let's see. And then you have Moderna here is developing a vaccine against the hantavirus since 2024. Moderna and Korea University co-developed hantavirus, 2024. Yep. This is hantavirus is listed in the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine adverse event report. Showing it here again. And again, this is the tweet that was sent out by Soothsayer 2023. And what's he got? I don't know. He got some user image with horns. I don't know. 2023 Corona ended 2026 hantavirus. That was June 11th, 2022. And they say, can you explain how this is can you explain how this post is possible? Anyway. All right, guys. So it looks like they're kicking off the next pandemic. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.